top.
The virus doesn't frighten me, more so the loneliness and being alone frightens me more.
The restaurant industry is like a goldmine to the UK economy. It provides jobs for nearly 1 million people and is worth in excess of £38 billion. Finding the right ingredients to create a successful restaurant can be a guessing game, but Lupin's in London Bridge got it right from the start.
We've been very busy since we opened and it's only grown. We expanded this time last year. We basically doubled the size of the seating capacity in the restaurant. There's a lot of hours being put in and a lot of tears, but it's definitely worth it for the result at the end and seeing happy staff and happy customers.
The restaurant was breaking even, but within days, news of the coronavirus caused the customers and the cash to disappear, and Lupin shut its doors, perhaps forever.
So came into work on the Monday at Lupin's, and we did 2 people all day, and which doesn't cover any costs at all for opening. So we said, oh, well, let's see what happens the next day. Let's see if anything comes out in the news or there's any more guidelines. And they said, don't go out to restaurants and pubs. And really it was less than 48 hours of thinking, let me start getting a contingency plan in place for Lupin's to actually closing the doors. We're no longer trading as a restaurant.
An entire month after serious concerns were raised about how the coronavirus would impact the UK economy, the government finally began to announce a series of incentives to prop up businesses like Lupin's. The rescue package includes grants, loans, and paying 80% of staff salaries. But Natasha says the help came far too late for restaurants like hers.
Most small businesses, especially restaurants, that we've got very, very tight margins. They're not very profitable businesses. We do it a lot for love and for the passion of the job. So any extra costs that were just too great. It's not a case of let's see if a week or 2 weeks goes by. It's with immediate effect. We need to kind of get these in place.
It's too early to know exactly how many restaurants will never reopen due to the effect of the coronavirus, but trade unions say the government undoubtedly let businesses and employees down by not acting faster.
As far as I can see, government have not been perfect in how they've dealt with this throughout. They've really been lax in getting out information in an adequate format for people to understand. I'm literally receiving minute-by-minute phone calls from individuals and texts and messages where they're finding themselves unable to work out where they stand in relation to their future. Certainly there is a big worry for what the future holds for those members.
London's restaurants rely heavily on tourism for trade, but with planes grounded and borders shut across the globe, the tourist industry has been decimated.
People do get in touch with me and they want to find out, right, I got 5 days in London, what can I do? Can you give me an itinerary, provide me with a chauffeur, drive me around London?
Amy is a VIP tour guide. Her bespoke services for Chinese visitors have been in high demand over the last decade, but during the last few months, work has dried up.
At this moment, we don't really have any business because what's happening for the coronavirus. This is my availability form, and if it's green, it means the guide is available. If it's red, it means I'm busy on that day. But at this stage, it's rather green. This job just got cancelled. Yeah, I should take that off.
Chinese tourism is hugely important for our national coffers. It's estimated that for every 22 Chinese visitors to the UK, one job is created.
It's about 500,000 Chinese tourists come to the UK each year, and it's forecast that they will be spending about £1 billion this year in tourism spending. That figure's been growing exponentially over the last 5 years, but we're seeing quite a few cancellations coming through from Chinese groups.
It's not just London businesses that suffered from this loss of tourism. The effects could be felt far and wide. Windsor is a top destination for Chinese tourists, but the streets and shops have been empty since January.
He died down very quickly, as if somebody got water in a bath and took the plug out and it's all gone down the plug. There are places, of course, in the town that won't survive.
Even though tourist numbers were down, shop managers worried about stock levels. The supply of goods, usually from China, had screeched to a halt.
There is no Chinese at all. It's a big loss for us. And top of that, a reasonable number of stuff comes from China also. So for these businesses, I think this is going to be a double blow for us. No customers, on the other hand, no supply also. So it is going to be very difficult for us.
The government aid package will be a welcome cushion for some struggling tourist shops. But any cash handouts will only be backdated to March, even though many businesses have been struggling with losses since January. At the start of the year, when Lupin's was fully booked virtually every night, Natasha and her business partner decided to take a risk and launch a second venue, Pomelo, a highly anticipated tapas restaurant in King's Cross. But within weeks, the coronavirus was changing public mood, and Pomelo had to be closed.
Previous week we'd had a few hundred people down, and then this Sunday we opened and we had 2 people come down for it, and I thought we probably need to cut our losses with Pomelo at this point because staffing it is too expensive, so decided on the Sunday to close Pomelo.
With both Pomelo and Lupin's out of business, Natalie's staff are worried. Redundancies seem inevitable.
It's been really, really daunting, and also because it was so unexpected, it just kind of hit. Everyone was just kind of like put on freeze, so we were unable to plan around it. It just had to be like, hey, this is what's happening. We'll then take things basically as it comes, try work through it as a team.
The hospitality and tourism sectors employ tens of thousands of people on a casual, freelance, 0 hours basis. But the coronavirus crisis has caused many of them to have no work and no pay.
I'm basically a self-employed VIP executive driver, and I work with numerous small niche operators. Some of the time it's picking up business guys from, say, Heathrow, Luton, whichever airport, could be a private airport, taking them to their hotel, dropping their bags off.
Over his 30-year career, Simon has rarely had a day off. But this month, he's had just 1 day's work. And to make matters worse, he recently purchased a brand new hybrid car to comply with TfL rules. The situation has left him financially on the edge.
Give it another 3 or 4 weeks, we'd be eking at savings. I'm already trying to get a payment holiday on the lease on the vehicle for obvious reasons. Life will start getting difficult.
The government insists it is helping people like Simon through measures such as the deferral of some tax requirements, payment holidays for mortgage payers, and the strengthening of the welfare safety net. But critics say the support doesn't go nearly far enough.
It's already too late for many individuals in terms of how those benefits will be claimed, in terms of the teams available to even deal with the huge raft of claims that are going to come through. There are going to be individuals who really won't know where they're going to be getting their next meal from. And this really, really concerns me.
It's been almost 3 months since the coronavirus began hitting Amy's small business, and things are now desperate.
That's just literally like a clear-cut cliff job for the business at the moment.
Amy has a second job organising weddings for UK Chinese citizens, but due to government restrictions, it too is mothballed.
People not cancelling their weddings. They are not cancelling it. They are just postponed it. So the wedding portraits we have for this week is postponed it. So they're just going to delay the whole thing. And we have a wedding in Dublin in May. They say they don't know.
If more government help isn't forthcoming soon for the self-employed and others in the gig economy, some businesses might never recover. It's a prospect haunting many in the shadow of the coronavirus. But even so, there are springs of hope.
We are looking to do deliveries to try and keep the staff in and being paid and get food out to people who need it the most at the moment. That will give us a bit of hope to try and stay open, even if it is just to pay the rent and pay the staff. That's the most important thing right now, is to try and do anything we can to save the business.
They began to reorganise, cooking lunches to deliver to members forced to stay at home. But even this has had to stop since the new rules came in on Monday.
My biggest issue with this is that we've been trying to combat loneliness, and this is all going to be undone because everyone's being forced into isolation.